So yeah, we're up here at Fort Anne, and we're up here at the Fort of Fort Anne and history of Fort Anne here today. And I just wanted to show you how critical Fort Anne was to not only commerce and trade, the Native Indians, um, just in general, how crucial was Fort Anne to not only the French and Indian War, but also the American Revolution. As we can see down here, Fort Anne is right here. It's right south of Whitehall, and it's just north of Queensbury and Hudson Falls and Lake George. And here is here is Lake Champlain, and it empties into Lake George, and the Hudson River is not really shown on here, but that's okay. But it parallels the Hudson River, and these waterways were used not only during the French and Indian War, but also during the American Revolution, and Burgoyne's march from Ticonderoga in 1777. During the French and Indian War, the native Mohawk people would have used these routes to just travel in between not only their small towns, but also prepare for any wartime engagements in the region. This information is brought to us by Lakes to Locks Passage, and also the Alfred, let me get a film of that, Lakes to Locks Passage, and then the Alfred Z. Solomon Cultural Heritage Trail, it was named after. And so some of the history on Fort Anne, the village site here, Halfway Brook, which is right south of here, midway along the Indian Path, made travel between Hudson River and Lake Champlain. European armies trapped along the route between 1690 and 1760, building fortification here each of the four French and Indian Wars. The fort during Queen Anne's War, 1702-1713, gave a place its name, originally named after Queen Anne. In 1777, once again, Burgoyne would begin his march and eventually reach Fort Anne at the Battle of Fort Anne, as he was preparing to not only invade Fort Anne, but he was also preparing to invade Fort Edward and on to further south, Fort Miller, and eventually Saratoga. His ultimate plan was to reach, as we know, was to Albany. So during the campaign of Burgoyne, they felled trees. The American felled trees to block the British forces' advancement. Colonial forces mounted a successful defense at Saratoga in the late summer of 1777. And when the Champlain Canal opened in 1823, it made Fort Anne an inland port. Canals were dug, and unfortunately, fugitive slaves during the 1850s and the later part of the Civil War would be brought to this part of the country. We know John Brown and all those folks who were the anti-slavery people. And Halfway Brooks, we've already talked about Halfway Brook being significant to the French and Indian War. Also, Halfway Brook was important to the Revolutionary War. So the Champlain Canal provides access to the old Champlain Canal, locks 16 and 17, near Clay Hill Bridge, as well as Miles Easy Walking Bridge. Traffic slows. So basically, the canal was important to not only commerce, trade, but to just moving people between place to place. Moving on here, So as we see, the Battle of Fort Anne happened July 7th and 8th, and 6th, 7th, and 8th, actually. And on the first day, the Continentals attacked the British camp at the base of Battle Hill, which is just north of Hill. Overwhelmed British forces withdrew up a steep side of Battle Hill, gaining a better fighting position at the summit. The Continentals returned to Fort Anne, ending the first day of battle. We met with a party of regulars and gave them fire, and was returned by the enemy, who then pursued them with close fire till they basically retreated to the top of the mountain, which we were talking about, Battle Hill, which is right north of here. At the foot of this mountain, we posted our service and continued our fire until 6 p.m. But night approaching obliged me to return with my party to the garrison. That's Continental Captain James Gray, 3rd New Hampshire. And the second day of battle, July 8th. Well, July 5th and 6th, we see that Burgoyne he begins his march from Ticonderoga to July 6th, Skenesborough. And then on the 7th, he finally makes it to Battlefield. And that's where we have the first day of battle and the second day of battle. July 8th, once again, the Continentals reinforced the Albany Militia 6th Regiment, resumed their attack against the British. British established a long firing line across the summit of Battle Hill, and gave the Continentals a stern fight. Once again, the Continentals basically won the day, and basically stopped the British from their further advancement. And we can see that, and I love this because whoever did this is amazing. I wish every historic site had not only this kind of documentation, and we're gonna go over here to my west here, and we're gonna look at another board. But I wish every site was like this. So we need to get contact with some people that can better. Maybe Fort George needs this. I mean, this is amazing. So we can see that the British are, as we're looking north. This would be north. We can see the British over here to the west. We can see the Continental troops moving from the south and flanking them left and right. And then we can see the advance, which was the American advance, and then the British withdrew. We had a battalion here. The Americans flanked them. The British withdrew north toward Ticonderoga on day 8. So once again, this is also including the fall of Ticonderoga, as the British found a prime position to attack Ticonderoga on mountain defense. Unable to defend against the looming British attack, Continental Major General Arthur St. Clair ordered abandonment of Fort Ticonderoga. The main Continental Army followed St. Clair east toward present-day Vermont, while the women, sick, and injured soldiers and 200 other additional soldiers withdrew to Skenesborough under the command of New Hampshire Colonel Long on the flotilla boats. We talked about them. The fall of Skenesborough, from Ticonderoga to Skenesborough. And Skenesborough, the Continentals had a little relief after arriving at Skenesborough. Burgoyne's ships arrived within an hour of the Continentals and began to attack them. Again, unable to defend against a large British force, Colonel Long and the Continentals continued on to Fort Anne, this is where we're at by now. On July 7th, late July 6th, July 7th, Burgoyne arrives at Fort Anne Battle Hill and begins his assault. Stay tuned.